Hello and welcome to my review of Thomas Was Alone. I can't show you a game case because this game does not have one. Oh, and this is going to be something of a double review because not only will I be reviewing this game for the PC, but I'll also be reviewing its Android counterpart. I've been wanting to review this game for a while because if you haven't played it or even heard of it, I need to make you aware. Let's begin. Thomas Was Alone is a puzzle platformer that was released as a Flash browser game in 2010. In 2012 it was released as a full game for the PC and has since been put on many other platforms. As for me, I bought this game as part of a Humble Bundle, and then I bought it again for Android as part of a mobile Humble Bundle. The bundle also came with a copy of the game's soundtrack, but we'll get to that later. Looking at this game, you might think it seems cheap. Lazy even. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Looks aren't everything. Amazing graphics don't make a game good. There are all sorts of other factors to consider. How about the story? Well, this game does have a story, oddly enough, and it begins with an AI named Thomas.
Thomas was alone. Wow, a weird first thought to have.
The story is told through the narration and quotes from the AI's programmers. The narration is just charming, and there's even a fair amount of humor from it throughout the game, although this one line does date it a bit.
Thomas was connected to the internet for 12 seconds, and he had seen everything. He'd seen the cat who couldn't spell, he'd heard of the arrow through the knee. He felt there was probably a thing called cake, but that it was a lie.
Yeah, I guess even rectangles can't escape memes. Again, it seems lazy just narrating a story about self-aware quadrilaterals, but it's pretty damn effective. As the game progressed, I couldn't help but see these, well, shapes as real characters with unique personalities. And yes, I said characters as in more than one, which kinda negates the whole Thomas being alone thing in about 10 minutes. Over the course of the game, we're introduced to these characters and their abilities. Some can jump higher, or float in water, or even defy gravity.
James liked being alone. No one to insult him or question his unique disregard for Newtonian laws.
So this leads into the gameplay. The game is split up into 10 chapters, each containing 10 levels. That is until you finish the game and the DLC is unlocked, but I'll talk about that later. The objective of each level is to get all the AIs to their respective portals. When all of them are in the portals, you move to the next level. But of course, this is easier said than done, as there are obstacles to work your way around. In these instances, the shapes have to help each other out. This occurs as soon as we're introduced to Chris. He's pretty small and weak as shit when it comes to jumping, or as the game says, rubbish, so levels that he's in usually involve needing to form a staircase out of the other shapes that he can climb up. While there's definitely a challenge, the game keeps it fair by having some of the longer levels have save points that you restart from if you die. As for controls, you move in the usual way. Arrow controls are A and D to move and space to jump. You switch between which character you control by pressing either Q or E. The character switching does get a bit confusing, especially in levels with all the AIs, but to be honest, I can't really think of a way to make this control scheme better on the PC. And that's where the Android version comes in. The Android version is basically just a full port of the game on a phone. The story and levels are exactly the same, but for a touchscreen, control changes had to be made. So there are buttons for moving and jumping, but for the character switching, there are colored buttons on the edges of the screen that you tap to change to that character, so switching to what character you want to control is a much simpler process. It makes the more complicated levels much easier to get through. It's not a perfect system, the buttons are small and it's easy to accidentally select the wrong character, and it gets a bit confusing when you're playing as all gray shapes, but aside from those issues, the control scheme is pretty solid. So once you beat the game, you unlock the DLC called Benjamin's Flight. It takes place before the main story and involves a square named Benjamin and his jetpack that he borrowed from his father.
Just a quick flight up to the fountain. Benjamin was sure his father wouldn't mind. The locked doors were a precaution. The spiked walls, a friendly reminder to be aware of his surroundings.
It also explains the backstory of the double-jumping rectangle Sarah from the original game. Their story is about them trying to reach a fountain of knowledge, which is really just an internet connection. Huh. That's a very relatable story, actually. So instead of Benjamin jumping, you make him fly by holding the jump button. It's a pretty simple control scheme. Going in, I thought this would be easy, just fly around on a jetpack and be done with it. Oh hell no. I fucking suck at this game. Benjamin has died so many times under my control. Okay, just ease your way down. Shit. Just gotta get around here. Fuck! Oh, come on! Damn it! Ugh! I don't know why I have such a hard time with it. I mean, it's nice having Sarah because her double jump is friggin' sweet, but for fuck's sake, why is Benjamin so fucking hard to control? I know, it's probably just me, but if that wasn't enough, I'm even worse on the Android version. Why? Is this what playing Flappy Bird feels like? This story is only 20 levels long, but damn, it felt longer. You know what? Fuck Benjamin anyway. Jetpack thieving bastard. Okay. Wow. Went a bit far with that. What I'm trying to say is that it's not bad, just difficult. The story is as well told as the main story, and its problems don't detract from the main game's good qualities. The last thing I want to mention is something that I rarely talk about in my reviews, but it really does deserve attention in this case. As I said earlier, the bundle I bought this game with came with the soundtrack, and by God am I ever glad it did. The music in this game is fantastic. All of it. It fits perfectly with the gameplay and the story. This may be my favorite game soundtrack of all time. If I hadn't gotten it with the game, I would have bought it. I love it that much. Major props to David Housden, seriously. I can't say anything bad about it. This game is a perfect example of graphics don't make a game great. This game manages to be fun and tell an interesting story even though it's just rectangles jumping on other rectangles. And I love it. Really, what more can I say? The gameplay is great, the music is great, the story is great, and it's just a great game. The only problems I had with it were that the controls take a bit of getting used to, and the DLC is kind of hard. But other than that, it's an excellent game, and I absolutely recommend you buy it, whether it be for mobile or PC. And that's all. Hey, I just realized, this was my first PC game review, and technically my first mobile game review. Huh. I guess that went okay. Well, what do you think? Should I review another game from my Steam library, or should I try something else? Let me know in the comments, and the next review, whatever it is, will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.